Good afternoon. Hope you're having a great weekend. It is Sunday, September 7th, 2:56 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time, local time here in Aurora, Oregon. I'm at the TA Petro truck stop in Aurora, and I'm just about to leave and go to the shipper, which is 40 miles away in Stayton, Oregon, close to Salem, Oregon. It's about 40 miles south of here. A whole bunch of stuff going on. The good news is that I just took a shower. I like taking showers. It's nice to feel clean. A lot of the bad news, there was no hot water in the shower. It wasn't an ice cold shower. The water temperature was probably around 70 degrees if I had to guess. So it was the temperature of like a pool that wasn't cold. So it was like lukewarm water. So yeah, that kind of sucked. I just did a pre-trip and one of my flashers is not working. Luckily, it's one of my flashers that doesn't technically have to work. For those of you who are unaware, on the trailer, you are required to have marker lights halfway down the trailer. Just a second, let me check something real quick. You're required to have marker lights halfway down the trailer. And something that a lot of people get confused on is that they're also supposed to act as turn signals. Now that's common on modern trailers, is that they also double as turn signals, but that is not a requirement. That is optional. And one of mine decided to stop acting as a turn signal. It still works as a marker light, but it no longer works as a turn signal. I've disconnected and reconnected the electrical line several times. I've tried the turn signal. I've tried the four-ways. I've done all kinds of stuff. And it just does not work as a turn signal anymore. So that's a legal gray area. Because everything on the truck is supposed to be working as intended. And that thing is intended to flash as a turn signal. So it's not working properly. But it's also doing its minimum required job. So I don't know. It's going to be kind of weird if I get an inspection on it. But I'm doing a drop and hook on this load, so it's going to be somebody else's problem on whether or not they want to put it into the shop over that. If I were keeping the trailer, I would put it in the shop over that. I don't know if Landstar would approve the work order, though. Because I guess maybe technically it is working correctly. I know it was flashing before. The trailer I had before this one, the marker lights halfway down the trailer didn't flash at all. Oh my goodness, just a second here. Traffic is starting to back up into the intersection. You're not supposed to make the turn or drive through the intersection if it's not clear for you to pass all the way through the intersection. But these four-wheelers, they don't really pay attention to the law. So what else is going on? So cold shower. Trailer marker lights not flashing anymore. Um, the big problem that's going on right now is with the load. So I'm not going to go back and tell the whole backstory on the load. Go for it, pickup. Don't wait till the last. I hate it when people do this crap. They sit there and think about it and think about it and think about it, and they had plenty of room to do it, and then they waited so long that they wait until it becomes dangerous. They wait until they shouldn't do it, and then they go for it.
Turn right onto the I-5 South ramp.
Let me get on the interstate and I'll finish telling you what's going on with this load. We're basically doing a hairpin turn here. Doing a legal U-turn. All right, we do not have any merge lane. Just straight onto the interstate. The lane's clear though. All right. What in the hell? We were doing 55 and I turned the cruise on and it said it at, oh, well, now the speed limit's up to 60. I guess we're out of the construction already. Let's bump the cruise up to 60. $60 for trucks, 65 for everybody else. I cannot stand places that have split speed limits. That's dangerous. The main cause of accidents is vehicles traveling at different speeds. And you're intentionally creating a dangerous situation by having vehicles traveling at different speeds. Anyway, what's going on with this load? Speedometer test section. I need to bust out my stopwatch. Let me get a drink of soda. Throat's drying out, and then we'll explain what's going on with the load. All right, so I booked this load, I think it was Tuesday of last week. Oh, we got a inspection site in 2 miles. So I think I booked the load Tuesday of last week. And on Friday morning, they emailed me and told me the load was supposed to pick up Sunday between noon and midnight. And they emailed me Friday and said that the load was delayed. I forget exactly how they worded it, but they basically told, it was like 1 or 2 sentences. It wasn't a whole lot of information. They just said the load is now picking up Monday, September 8th. Call dispatch. This is basically what their message said. So I called, and they said, yeah, it's picking up on Monday. And I said, what time Monday? And they said, I don't know. And I said, okay, I just got the bypass, so they must be closed. Somebody, okay, I ran across a Landstar driver. I'm sorry. I hope I remember where I left off on this story, but let's go to another story now. There was some Landstar driver that I was talking with. I forget where. I want to say it was when I was in Atlanta, Georgia, when I was delivering that Google load. I think the Landstar driver there told me that Landstar has an amazing CSA score of like 90%. I'm like, are you sure? Because like last time I was there, they told me that, oh, it's actually open. The weigh station is open, and I got bypassed. Oh my goodness. I said that the last time I was there, they told me that our CSA score for Ranger and Inway were both really bad. You need, I think it's 60 is satisfactory. Like you have to be at least 60%. And we were below 60% on both Ranger and Inway. I'm in the Inway fleet. And as far as Ranger and Inway goes, there's really no difference between the two of them. And I asked them what determines which fleet you get put into, and they told me it's just whichever qualification center you go through. So whenever you apply, it's just whichever qualification center you get assigned to whenever, they process your application. That's what determines whether you go Ranger or Inway. And they also have the Express fleet, which I think is all expedite. It's those short little trucks that are team expedite. And that thing has like 100% CSA score. They have a perfect score. But I think there's hardly any trucks in that fleet. It's a really tiny fleet. But he was telling me that we have like a 90% CSA score. And I'm like, are you sure? So I don't know what Landstar's CSA score is anymore. But I have noticed I've been getting more bypasses lately. I was getting bypassed on just about everything when I first started with Landstar because we were above 60%. When I first started, Inway was at like 65% and Ranger was at like 58%. So Ranger was below the threshold, but Inway was above. And I was getting bypassed. And then you have to do a 90-day follow-up orientation after your initial orientation. And in that 90 days, Inway's CSA score went from 65 down to like 55. And I didn't get bypassed on anything unless it was closed. But here recently, I've been getting bypasses on open way stations. Not a lot of them, but they've been happening. So anyway, back to the drama. So I called them after they sent the email. I called them, and they told me that, yeah, the load's not ready until Monday. And I said, okay, what time Monday? They said they didn't know. And I said, okay, well, I need a new freight bill with the new appointment times. And I need to know what those appointment times are. So could you send me that information? And they said, yeah, we'll get it over to you in a few minutes. Nothing happened for the rest of the day Friday. And then Saturday, they called and woke me up at like 11 a.m., 10 a.m. in the morning, something like that, asking if I would do them a favor. They had a driver broke down, and they needed somebody to take a load from Stayton to Seattle. I was like, no. And I said, what's going on with my load? I still haven't gotten an appointment time, and I still haven't gotten new freight bills. I don't know when I'm picking the load up, and I need new freight bills for the load with all the new appointment times. And he said, I told my people to do it. I forget what he referred to them as. I told my employees or my people or my crew. I forget what words he used, but he said that he told somebody to do it. And I said, well, I haven't gotten anything. I still don't know what time I'm picking it up. I still don't have the new freight bills. He said, okay, I'll get it over to you. And then nothing the rest of the day Saturday. So today I tried calling him. It's Boss Lady Logistics, but the person that answers the phone's a guy. And Boss Lady Logistics, that is just like so narcissistic. Anyway, I could not reach them on the phone. They're not answering the phone. The agent, the Landstar agent, is not answering the phone. So I tried calling the shipper, and the shipper is not answering the phone. I've called them probably like 3 times a piece today. Can't get a hold of either one of them. So I sent another email. And said, this is 2 phone calls and 2 emails. I still do not know what the appointment time is, and I have not received the new freight bill with all the new appointment times. And I am waiting to hear back from that. I sent that like an hour ago. I still haven't gotten anything back on that. So some of you may be confused as to why I need a new freight bill. Well, it has to do with the business side of trucking. You ever wonder why, as a company driver, they're constantly telling you to make sure you don't lose the bills of lading, make sure you get the bill of lading signed, make sure that the addresses are correct on the bills of lading, make sure all the information is correct on the bill of lading and the freight. Well, company drivers don't see the freight bills, but they tell you to make sure everything's correct on the bill of lading. The reason is because there are so many shady people in this industry. Everyone in this industry will take advantage of you if they can. And one of the most common things that happens in this industry is refusal to pay over technicalities like not having a bill of lading signed or the freight bill being wrong. I had a like $7,000 or $9,000 load that the customer never paid. I got paid for the load. Landstar forced the agency to pay me for the load, so the agency had to pay me out of their own pocket. But the agency didn't get paid by the broker that they were working with. The broker refused to pay the agency because the to and from addresses, the pickup and delivery addresses were backwards. They refused to pay over that technicality. Even though it was a load going to Mexico that went through customs, there was a tremendous amount of paperwork. There's a massive trail of paperwork showing that this load actually happened. But they said that they didn't think it was a real load because of the addresses being backwards. They just played stupid and refused to pay over that technicality. And then the Landstar agent deducted my money out of my account. I had a charge of like over $5,000 on one of my settlements. The load paid like $7 or $8 grand, and my cut of the load was over $5 grand. And I had a negative $5,000 something on one of my settlements because the agent charged me back on the load because the customer refused to pay. 2 years. It was 1 or 2 years. I think it was 2 years after I delivered the load that the agent charged back the load on me. And it took me a couple of days and a lot of phone calls and a lot of yelling and screaming on the phone, but I eventually got my money back. So yeah, I have, like, this agency that I'm working with, I don't know if I ever want to do business with them again. I've had a lot of issues. I haven't even picked up the load yet, and I've had a lot of issues. And they have this huge agreement that they sent along with the freight bill that basically, and also on the freight bill it says this. It says this in this huge agreement that they had me agree to. And also they wrote it on the freight bill. It says that if I'm late for any pickup or deliveries, they can basically not pay me for the load. So that's one of the biggest reasons I need a new freight bill, is because all of the pickup and deliveries are now wrong. I'm going to be late for all of them that are on the original freight bill. So that's the reason, one of the biggest reasons I need a new freight bill that has all the new times on it. And because I haven't gotten that, there are several things that I'm doing to CYA, cover your ass. So one is the email exchanges. I have, in email that I can forward to Landstar and say, hey, I've been trying to get this freight bill from them. They also have in writing in an email that the pickup date was pushed back till September 8th. That's one of my CYAs. I have stuff in writing through email about the appointment times changing. And also, I'm driving over here a day early. I'm going to arrive within my original appointment time window. My original window was between noon and midnight today, Sunday. I'm going to arrive within that window. I'm going to be at the shipper within that window, and I'm going to log my status as arrived whenever I get there. So if they try to deduct payment, like reduce the amount, because in the verbiage that they put on the freight bill and on that agreement, it says that they can deduct or charge fees or fine me or refuse to pay for the entire load if I'm late for any of the pickups or deliveries. So if they try to do any of that crap, then I'm going to have all of this to back me up with Landstar, and I will go round and round in circles with Landstar and make this agency pay me what they owe me. This load is already cheap. This is one of the reasons that I avoid hauling cheap freight. It's not just that the freight is cheap. It's that you're operating under that business model. You're operating with the business that's their business model. Just a second here. This vehicle's merging on slow, really close in front of me. All right, there they go. Now they're speeding up. I've got 9 miles until I exit, 22 miles until I get to the shipper. So yeah, I mean, when you're operating with when you're doing business with a company that operates under, a cheap business model, then you're dealing with, like, everything that they do is under that business model. So, like, they're understaffed. The agency is understaffed. It's really hard to get a hold of them. They forget to do stuff because they're so overwhelmed with all the stuff that they're doing because they're understaffed. That's the reason it's been an absolute nightmare to get new appointment time and to get new freight bills. And whenever I ask them questions about, like, the deliveries, they can't give me a straight answer. Whenever I was talking with them about the delivery appointments, I asked them, hey, is there any way that we can change the delivery schedule to where I go to Tulsa first and then Oklahoma City? Because I live in Oklahoma City and I'd like to end up in Oklahoma City. And they're like, well, you can just do that if you want. You can usually access all the stuff in the trailer. If you can access the Tulsa freight before the Oklahoma City freight, then you can just go to Tulsa first. And I was like, well, what about all the appointment times? And they said that, we just have to have appointment times for legal reasons. You don't really have to obey the appointment times. It's just something that we have to do. And he went on this really long explanation, basically telling me that the appointment times don't matter and that I can deliver the stuff anytime I want and I can deliver it in any order that I want. And I was like, yeah, that just doesn't make any sense, because the agreement that you guys sent to me had a lot of threatening, stuff in there. And he's like, well, we just have to do that for legal reasons. Like, okay, whatever. So they're talking out of both sides of their mouth. They're being very threatening and telling me that I have to do everything by the book in writing. And then over the phone, they're telling me that none of it matters. I can do whatever I want. But yeah, I can't reach anybody at the shipper. I can't reach anybody at the agency. And the shippers, the place that I'm picking up from is not adequate for their needs. I don't know how I'm going to get in and out of there. I don't know if I'm going to be able to find a place to park. I don't even know if there's going to be anybody there today. And I'm supposed to sign all of the paperwork and turn it in to the shipper. But it's a preloaded trailer that has all the paperwork sitting in the back of the trailer. I don't even know what trailer I'm supposed to pick up. So, it is so confusing how I'm supposed to do this load. Because they didn't give me a trailer number I'm supposed to pick up, but supposedly it's going to be preloaded and ready, and the paperwork's already going to be sitting in the back of it. So I can just go and pick it up, sign the paperwork, and then give it to the shipper and go. So if the shipper's not there on a Sunday, I don't even know how I would do a pickup on a Sunday. I don't even know what trailer I'm supposed to pick up. I don't know. It's really weird. But this is the type of drama you typically deal with whenever you haul cheap freight. You have lots and lots and lots of issues. Sometimes you even have issues getting paid. You know, they're trying to make as much money as they can. So if they can get the customer to pay them, but they cannot pay me, man, that's like normally I was told that Landstar agents get 7% of the load. So this load's paying over $10,000. It's paying like $10,300, but let's say $10,000. That means that this agent is making $700 on this load. Damn it, I got up to 60. Speed limit dropped from 60 down to 55, and I'm trying to reset my cruise down to 55, and I accidentally sped back up to 60. I've only got 5 miles till I exit. All right, we're back at 55. Man, there are just lines and lines of cars merging on. You better figure your stuff out, pickup. Don't merge into my trailer. Yeah, so it's just, there's a lot of drama with this load. I'm really irritated with this agency. And I haven't even picked up their load yet, and I'm already irritated with them. I think by the time I finish with this load, I'm probably going to blacklist this agency. I just have that feeling. I actually looked for another load. I looked to see if there was another load. And if JQL would have had a load, then I would have booked another load and just canceled this thing. Because technically, like right now, I don't even have a load, honestly. Because they said they haven't sent me a freight bill for the new appointment time. They basically, whenever a load gets delayed like this, it's basically they're going to cancel the load and they're going to have to create a new freight bill with a new load number. So technically, like, I don't have a load right now. They still have the old load assigned to me that was basically canceled. But, like, we're in this really weird territory right now where, like, whenever they come into work tomorrow, this whole thing, they might just tell me that, oh, they weren't able to do that load, and just go ahead and cancel it off of me after I waited a week to pick the load up. My last load was canceled on me after I waited like 3 days to pick it up. I'm going to be really, really mad because I'm driving all over the place to pick these loads up. And then they're canceling on me at the last second. And a truck ordered not used was only $350. That does not make up for all of my wasted time. All right, 1.5 miles until my exit. $14 miles until we get to the shipper. Oh, wow. That was a nice toy truck that was sitting on the concrete wall over on the right. It's like one of those Bigfoot trucks, one of those toys. Not the ones that you are big enough that you can ride, a kid can ride in, but one of the ones you push around with your hand. It might have been a remote control one. All right.
In a half mile, use the right two lanes.
This is my exit.
253 toward Detroit Lake Bend.
All right, now I'm looking to see if there's like a left-right lane. Do I need to?
Use the right two lanes to take exit 253.
Do I need to be in the left lane to make a left turn? Like, what's going on?
In a quarter mile, use any lane to turn left onto Mission Street Southeast.
All right, so these two lanes turn left. So I'm good to go in this lane. I'm in the correct lane.
At the light, use any lane to turn left onto Mission Street Southeast.
What the fuck? I did not see that fire truck till the last second. I was focused on the light. The light turned yellow, and I saw that fire truck over on the left. This is a really quick light.
Continue for 10 miles.
Just a second, I gotta watch out for all these people turning into the wrong lane, because that right lane's exit only. And a lot of people don't know what in the hell to do on a double left. They'll swing out into the wrong lane. That's somebody changing a tire. Right? Just all kinds of busy stuff going on here at this little interchange. Oh yeah, this is the person I want in front of me. It doesn't look like anything in that truck is secured. And they don't have a tailgate. And the faster they go, the more likely something is to fly out of there. "12 more miles. So yeah, what I'm hoping, this person keeps speeding up and slowing down. Sorry, I'm trying to get back to talking, but this person in front of me, the speed limit's 55, and they sped up to the speed limit. And I was like, okay, so I'm going to slow down by a couple miles per hour, let them get some distance on me, and they slowed down to 50 with me. So they're just matching my speed. When I speed up to 55, they speed up to 55. When I slow down to 50, they slow down to 50. So they're just yo-yoing in front of me. All right, I'm going to slow down while these cars are passing them, because innately people have this instinct to, like, we have this competitive instinct. So when cars are passing other cars and somebody's driving like this, where they're just driving on the pedal, not really paying attention to what they're doing, they will instinctually go faster when people are passing them. They'll speed up. All right, now I'm setting the cruise at 55. I managed to get a little bit of distance. You might be thinking, well, why don't you pass them? What do you think they're going to do when I try and pass them if they're speeding up and slowing down with me as I'm behind them? Okay, they're exiting. That's awesome. They're going to speed up if I try to pass them. They're going to make it impossible for me to pass. I don't have the acceleration a four-wheeler does. If a four-wheeler doesn't want me around them, then I'm not getting around them. All right, so what I'm hoping happens is that when I arrive at the shipper, there's actually somebody there. And I talk with them, and they're like, oh, yeah, we actually have that trailer ready right now, and you can pick it up now. Or they can tell me when it's going to be ready. And be like, yeah, it'll probably be ready. I don't, well, the customer, not the customer, but the agent told me that this place is 24/7. They're not answering their phones right now. So, like, I don't know if they're actually there, but maybe they'll tell me that the trailer is going to be ready at midnight. That'd be awesome. I won't be able to make the original appointment times if it's ready at midnight. But if everything gets bumped by a day, I'll be able to make them. And it'd be nice to drive through the Portland area at midnight instead of in the middle of the day. All right, this person is getting up to speed. Nice. They're not going to merge on going slow 10 feet in front of me. Very good. This person knows how to merge. 1 in a million right there. Five and a half miles until we get off on Golf Club Road. And I'm going to be on the lookout for no truck signs, because a lot of times what you deal with whenever you're dealing with, driving around in areas where there are rich people, is rich people have a lot of control in towns, and they will have, like, the roads near their houses or their businesses or their golf clubs, their country clubs, they'll have them designated no truck. It's going to be a pain in the butt to get to the shipper if I can't take this road, because I'll have to take the next exit and drive right through the middle of town and then backtrack a couple of miles back to the west. This is a cop. Yeah, looks like a cop. Oregon State Police. It's not stopping these people from speeding. I've got the cruise set at 55. Speed limit's 55, so everybody passing me is speeding. If this is the way people act when a cop's around, like, just think about how bad they are when there's not a cop around. But yeah, since there's a golf course at this exit, I'm just hoping that there's not a sign that says no trucks or some crap like that. $3 until we find out. But yeah, I'm hoping that there's somebody at the location today that I can talk with and figure out what's going on. And if the trailer's not ready right now, then I hope they're able to give me a door to put this trailer into. And then I can park bobtail while I wait. $2.2.
In 2 miles, take exit 12 toward Golf Club Road.
You know, I've had a lot of people comment, you know, about the number of stops on this load, 42 stops. Wow, that's crazy, you know, stuff like that. And yeah, 42 stops is insane. But that's not the way I'm looking at it. And I think that's the reason it's not bothering me that much, is I'm not looking at it as a 42 stop load. I'm looking at it as a local delivery job. I'm looking at it as I'm going to drive 1,600 miles to Kansas, and then I'm going to spend 8 days as a local delivery driver across Kansas and Oklahoma. So I'm not looking at it like 42 stops. I'm looking at it as 8 days of local delivery. All right, this is my exit coming up. Stayton truck route next right. Okay, so this is actually the way that trucks are supposed to go. So yeah, this is a truck route right by the golf course.
In a quarter mile, take exit 12 toward Golf Club Road. Take exit 12, then turn right onto Golf Club Road Southeast.
Alrighty.
At the stop sign, turn right onto Golf Club Road Southeast.
I have a couple of vehicles exited with me. A second here. It's not hard. It's not easy to see traffic because there's a big dip in the road. There's a couple of hills, and traffic is moving really fast. Man, the golf course is busy. They have some kind of event going on. They've got tents set up and stuff. Welcome to Stayton. We have a weight limit on the bridge. 29, 30, and 31 tons for 5, 6, and 7 axles. So I have 5 axles. So that's 29 tons. I have 3 axles on the tractor, 2 axles on the trailer, 5 total axles, 29 tons. Multiply that times 2. That is 68. No. Is that 58? Yeah, 58,000 pounds. Sorry, I'm trying to do math in my head and also watch the signs and the traffic around me and stuff like that. I don't even know what the speed limit is. I haven't seen a speed limit sign. Google says it's 50. I'm doing 40. So 58,000 pounds. This load is, I think, 15,000 pounds. My tractor and trailer empty, which I am right now, are roughly, all right, speed limit's 45. Stayton, welcome to Stayton, population 8,400. All right, is this a stop sign? Looks like we have a 4-way stop upcoming. Oh my goodness, there is a long line of vehicles behind me. Hopefully they're all making a left turn. Truck route is straight and left, and I'm going straight. Way station ahead is closed. What way station? All right, I'm making a right turn in half a mile. My truck and trailer empty is somewhere between like 35 and 37,000 pounds. So with a 15,000 pound load, I would be somewhere between 50 and 52,000. And the max weight for that bridge is 58,000. So I don't know how in the hell all of these businesses are operating on this truck route.
In a quarter mile, turn right onto Deschutes Drive.
All right, let's see here. Where in the hell is Deschutes Drive?
Take the next right onto Deschutes Drive.
There it
then
is.
Turn left onto Willamette Avenue.
There's a narrow little road we're turning off onto. Oh, great. This place has trailers parked out in the damn street.
Next left onto Willamette Avenue, then turn right.
Let's see what this sign says. Employee parking, main office, shipping and receiving are to the right. I don't think I can get turned around if I go into their shipping and receiving to the right. Wow, I'm really wanting to pull in over here on the left. But I don't know if I can make that damn turn with the trailers. They got trailers. You can't see it, but they've got Landstar trailers parked in the roadway over here. This is what I'm talking about whenever you're dealing with people that operate under, a cheap business model.
next left.
They're using their entryway as parking. You're supposed to be able to pull in that entryway that I just drove past, but they're using it as parking.
Next left, then turn right.
And I don't think there's enough room to spin the truck around pulling in this entrance. Oh, man. I just barely missed the curve by an inch or two. I guess I could maybe turn over here to the right and then back the other way. Oh man, what's going on with that trailer? All right, I'm gonna pause this and go and see if there's somebody here. Be right back. All right, there are people here, but they're not answering the door, and they have all of the doors locked. The lights are turned off in the shipping and receiving area. We're going to see if we can, I'm going to park in the dock. I'm going to try at least. I'm going to try to park in the dock. That is right next to the shipping and receiving office. But yeah, this does not look good. I am not wanting to do this load. I went around and I checked all of the Landstar trailers that are not in a dock that I can actually look into. I can't look into the trailers that are in the docks. But all the ones that are parked along the street, I looked in every single one of them. I think there were 4. 2 of them were empty, and the 2 that were loaded had damaged freight. I think that they were returns. What they're doing with these windows is they're just floor loading them and then putting a strap around them. They're putting them upright with a strap around them, and they have, I'll take the camera out and show you once I get parked. I think this one door right here is probably for their local deliveries and stuff like that. So they're probably not going to be very happy with me parking here, but it's like the only place that I can park unless I street park, and I'm not going to street park. Oh, got a little bit too far over here to my side. See if we can move it back over to the other side. There we go. It doesn't have to be perfect. I'm not docking. I am going to bump up against it, though. I'm going to get in there as far as I can, so I have to be pretty close. I don't want to hit the side of the building. I want to hit the bumpers. All right, should be any second now. All right, we're up against it. All right, now let me see if I can take this out without stopping the video. This battery does not last long once I unplug it, so I can't walk around outside for very long recording with this one. But I'll go show you one of the Landstar trailers. There's somebody living in their van parked in front of this Landstar trailer right here. They're just sitting there watching stuff on their phone. And then there's this business right here is advertising wage. Right there's the sign, wage 22 to 25.58 per hour, red built. Engineered wood products, Stayton, Oregon. Join our team. Now accepting. Let's just walk down here and read what it says in case anybody wants to work here in Stayton, Oregon. I haven't seen a single vehicle go up and down this road, so I think all these businesses are closed today. Well, their gate's open. Just gonna walk out in the middle of the road. So now accepting resumes, full benefits package, health, vision, dental, life insurance, etc. And you could tell that they've redone the wages recently because the wage area is different than the rest of the sign. So $22 to $25.58 per hour. Someplace that does wood stuff. Looks like there's somebody driving around on a little cart. It looks like plywood, particle board, or something like that. But maybe they do more than just that. All right, now let's walk over to the Landstar trailer. I'm not going to walk and show you both of them. I'll just show you one of them. They both look similar. And there's me, parked in the dock, sitting in the dock in the bay right there. And you see how they have those windows and doors on those pallets? They didn't do that on this load. They just set them on the floor. And I'll show you why it damages them if they set them on the floor like that. So the reason I went around and checked all these trailers was to see if any of them were my load, because supposedly the paperwork's supposed to be sitting in the back of the trailer. None of these trailers have paperwork sitting in the back of them. So you see how they floor loaded all those windows the same way that they floor loaded these. And these windows have this edge around them to allow them to be mounted. And they've just set them on the floor, and those edges are bending and snapping. Imagine what this is going to do driving down the road and we're hitting potholes and stuff like that. It is going to ruin the edging around every single one of these windows. And this entire damn trailer is floor loaded with these windows like this. Who is the idiot that thought that was a good idea? But the other trailer is floor loaded exactly like this one with windows. Just like this. And I suspect that they're returns. These were loads that were rejected. Because of the way these idiots loaded it. And now let's go look at these right here and see how they're loaded on the pallets to protect that edging around the bottom. Well, some of them have cardboard protectors for the edging, and others are setting up on pieces of wood to protect that edging. But not every single one of them has protection. Some of them are just setting down on their edging. Yeah, this is making me not want to do this load. It's going to really piss me off if, like, I have a whole bunch of rejected freight. And then they're like, yeah, we want you to drive that back to Stayton. Yeah, fuck you. I'm not driving back to Stayton. I'm sure that's what these Landstar drivers had to do with these trailers, where, like, the whole load was rejected or most of the load was rejected. They probably had to drive all the way back here at the $2 per mile. That's the full rate. We only get about 70% of that, so that's like $1.40 a mile. So those Landstar drivers that had those rejected loads most likely had to drive back here at $1.40 a mile. Could you imagine me having to drive all the way back from Oklahoma to Oregon at $1.40 a mile? What would that be, like $3,500 for me to drive all the way back over here? Oh, I would lose my damn mind. This is really making me, like, the more, like, I haven't even picked the load up yet. But, like, every little interaction I have with the agent and with this shipper just makes me not want to do this load. And if I'm gonna throw a little temper tantrum if my trailer is loaded like that, just windows floor loaded like that on their edging. But that's why do they do that? Why are they doing it that way? To save money. We're operating under that cheap business model. If they loaded them on these pallets, it would take up a lot more room. They wouldn't be able to fit as much in the trailer. We wouldn't be able to do as many stops. We might only be able to do 20 stops if they loaded it correctly versus 42 stops if they load it incorrectly. If they just jam as much crap in there as they can and they don't care about what's damaged. And if you go and you look at reviews on this place has a lot of one-star reviews from crap products and damaged products. Man, I'm gonna have to glue my shoe when I get home. These things came when I bought them. The soles were not on all the way, and I had to buy shoe glue to glue the soles back on. And the places where I glued it are on, but the places that I haven't glued yet have started coming loose. Like that whole front end there is coming off. These are steel toe shoes, by the way. I have spare shoes. I have I have some flip-flops that I never wear. I have some boots, like not like cowboy boots, but like I don't know, work boots, outdoor boots, survival type boots, stuff you'd go hiking in the mountains in. And I have just another pair of shoes. But I like these because they slip on and off really easy. And they have a thick sole on them. So I just deal with the flapping of that front of the sole for right now, rather than wear my other shoes. But anyway, I better wrap this up. I'm going to be sitting here until tomorrow. I think this place opens up like 7 a.m. And I'd be willing to bet money that as soon as they get here at 7 a.m., they're going to be like, you need to move your trailer. We need that dock. And I'm going to ask them what to do with my trailer. I'm going to tell them it's an empty and I'm picking up a load today. And I bet you money that they're going to tell me to go park it along the road over there. Because all of the empties, the Landstar empties, and the return loads, that's where they got them at. And I suspect that whenever they load a trailer and they have it loaded and ready to go, I suspect that that's where they're putting it as well. is they're just putting it in the roadway. Could you imagine having a neighbor like this? I would hate to live next door to somebody like this. They're using the roadway as their personal storage, just parking all their trailers out in the road, operating under that cheap business model. They don't have enough room on the land that they lease, so they're using public roadways to store their crap. What a terrible company. I bet they pay really low as well. But they're in competition with this place right across the street that's paying $22 to $25 an hour, which is not that great. That used to be pretty decent money, but it's not anymore. That's one of the many reasons that I quit my old job, is I was only making like, I forget what my base salary was. I think my base salary was like $25, but I got shift differential of like 10% for working nights and weekends, for working second shift or something like that. I can't remember. I was making like $28 an hour, somewhere between like $27 and $30 an hour. I can't remember how much. That was my base pay, and then I got overtime on top of that. But they started hiring people at fast food at like $15 to $20 an hour. I was seeing signs all over the place for fast food restaurants. You know, they'll hire you and you can start the same day for $18 an hour. And they started hiring at the company that I was working at. No experience, no certifications, no nothing. They were starting people out at like $23 an hour. I'm like, are you kidding me? I started working here at $14.50 an hour. I've been promoted several times. I have tons of experience, tons of certifications. I'm overqualified for my job, and my base pay is $25 an hour. And you're hiring people in off the street, straight out of high school with no degree, no certification, no experience, no nothing. And they're doing a remedial job, like some really low-end job. And you're paying them $23 an hour, and I'm doing a really high-end job, and you're paying me $25? Yeah, that's a joke. That's one of the many reasons that I decided to get out of that rat race and start up my own business. So yeah, 22 to 25 an hour, that doesn't even really sound that appealing. Used to be a decent wage, not so much anymore. But that's typical. Like anytime I pass by a warehouse that has a hiring sign and they have a wage out there of what they're paying, it's usually in the low 20s. Like $18 to $25 an hour, somewhere in that area. All right, I better wrap this up before the battery dies and it corrupts the video. So yeah, as you can see, there are several cars in the parking lot. I heard some machines and stuff running inside there when I was walking around the building, but all the doors are locked. Nobody's answering any of the doors. And even if somebody did answer one of the doors, they probably have no idea what's going on. I suspect that the shipping and receiving people aren't working today. And it would be like asking a cashier, you know, about depositing money at the bank for McDonald's. You know, the cashier has no idea the process for depositing money at the bank. They're a cashier. So if I was able to talk with one of the people that's in there working right now, they probably have no idea what's going on with shipping and receiving. They just put the windows together or load them in the trailers or whatever it is that they do, and they don't have any idea of the shipping and receiving side of it. So this is really bumming me out. I haven't heard anybody going in and out of any of the trailers. But since my load was supposed to be ready by noon Sunday, I suspect that the people that are here working today load trailers. So I'm hoping there's somebody loading my trailer, even though it's supposed to be late. I'm gonna go look one more time in the shipping and receiving office. Not ashtray. What? Yeah, right there's a sign that says check-in window, the lights are turned off, doors locked. Please check in at this window right here. They have it all blocked off so you can't walk into the warehouse. You have to just stop there at that window. But all the lights are off. Ohio needs screens. Looks like it has screens in it. I can see the little pattern in the back of it. Well, yeah, it looks like only the first one has a screen. The other three don't have screens. It's the kind of quality control we got here. So yeah, it sounds like they actually do piece the windows together at this place. Ooh, we have a car coming up. Are they going to pull in here? Let's see if they pull in here. Nope. They're pulling in at the place across the street that pays $22 an hour. All right, so I'm going to camp out in the truck for the night. And hopefully somebody walks out here and I'm able to be like, hey, can you check on my load for me? It'd be really awesome if it was ready tonight at some time. Or it'd be nice to get any kind of information on it. But that's what's going on with me today. Just going to sit here for the rest of the day and wait until tomorrow. And then first thing in the morning at probably about 7 a.m. they'll tell me that I can't park here. And I'll ask them what to do with the trailer. They'll tell me to go park it along the roadway over there. I'll go drop the trailer. And then I'll park in one of these bobtail spots. And I will wait for them to have my trailer ready for me. I suspect that's what's going to happen. Or they might just tell me that, you know, this dock right here is good. And then I'll just need to pull out, open the doors, slide the tandems, and drop it here. But I doubt that. I suspect that that's probably for receiving. That's probably the door that they receive stuff in. But anyway, all right, time to watch movies or something. Nobody's answering their phones today, so I can't get anything done today. Can't figure anything out today. I'll have to wait until tomorrow. So this is my Sunday. And I got to figure out what I'm going to watch. So hope you're having a great weekend. And once I finally get rolling, I'll make some driving videos. So anyway, have a good one. Bye.